Good evening. Welcome to the Eleanor Bunin Monroe Film Center, and welcome to the 49th New York Film Festival. This is, I think, the 25th and final New York Film Festival forum we'll be having. I want to thank you for taking the time to spend with us at these forums. I want to thank the online audience. All these events are being streamed live online at livestream.com/filmlink. You'll see there are cameras positioned around the amphitheater. And so special thanks to everyone at IndieWire for all of their help and all of our various partners throughout the week, and to everyone who's helped put these events on. We'll be getting started in just a moment. We're getting the book signing set up here. We've got a kind of unique, really special event for the final forum here at the New York Film Festival. I think you're in for a real treat. The man who's about to join us will be telling you about his work and showing some work and also drawing as well. So as soon as we're set up, we'll bring him up and get started for what will be a pretty cool program. And if you have any friends who might be at home, feel free to tweet and encourage them to watch from home. You can use the hashtag NYFF. And again, the URL is livestream.com/filmlink, or you can go to filmlink.com to watch it live. So the man who's joining us now is a terrific filmmaker and artist and a longtime friend. It's really a treat and a special honor to have him here with us at the New York Film Festival. Please join me in welcoming Bill Plympton.
Thank you, Eugene. It's a real treat for me to be here tonight. Thank you for coming to see me. My name is Bill Plympton. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, which, if some of you know, rains a lot out there. So consequently, the rain does a lot of weird things to your brain. A lot of psychopaths come from there: Ted Bundy, Gary Gilmore, Tanya Harding. And also a lot of cartoonists come from there: Matt Groening, Brad Bird, Will Vinton, John Callahan. And so there's a choice. You either go psychopath or cartoonist. I went both. I do both in my film, so you'll see some of that in the films tonight. It's going to be a really wonderful evening tonight. We're going to show you, or I'm going to show you, about 5 of my shorts. Some are very new. One is a premiere, and one is a work in progress. Also, everybody here gets a free drawing. I have cards here, and I'll do a drawing of my dog for you. So come get a free drawing. Thank you. Thank you. And then, of course, we have the book here for sale. And the book just came out by Rizzoli Press, and it's doing very well. People love the book. The reviews have been great. We're getting things like it's the best art book of the year. So it's really, really been exciting few months for me. But let's start off with a film here. This is a film you may have seen. It's A Cow Wanted to Be a Hamburger, and it was shortlisted for the Oscars last year, and it came out theatrically in the Oscar Shorts program. So James, are you ready? Can you hear me? Let's show The Cow Who Wanted to Be a Hamburger. Thank you. Thank you very much. The genesis of the idea for this film, I was out in Oregon and driving through the countryside and passed by a pasture of cows, and they were eating the grass, and we sort of waved and honked, and they never raised their heads. They never looked up because they're obsessed by eating as much grass as possible. And I thought, wow, what a, that's their life, is eating the grass and trying to make themselves the perfect steak. And that's when I thought, oh, wow, the cow who actually wanted to be a hamburger, wanted to get great marble and everything. The design is very good. It's very easy, rather. It's basically just a square kind of shape. Cows are very easy to draw. A couple of horns, a couple of ears, and a mouth like this, and that's it. The secret to this film is that it's very, the colors are very unique in that it's all done in Sharpie, just like this, very small. I think the field was about this big, very tiny. And the colors were inspired by a Kandinsky exhibition I'd seen before that, where some of his early stuff he used big fields of black and big fields of white, and then in between he had these bright, vivid colors. And so that's why I sort of ripped him off for this. And so when I did the cow, there's big fields of black for shadow, and it made the images very graphic. It really made them exciting to watch, very vivid color. So that's one thing I liked about it. Also, the music is interesting because there's no sound effects in the film. It's basically just music. I was too cheap to hire a sound effects person, so I had the musician mimic sounds for the cow and the mother cow and the rooster and all the factory and everything. So it's kind of a unique kind of soundtrack. Anyway, let me continue with my life story. I grew up watching Walt Disney on TV and, of course, Warner Brothers cartoons. And I fell in love with the animation immediately. I thought this was the perfect art form. Also, my dad, who was a real bon vivant, he loved to party. He loved to invite people over and have drinks and everything. This was the Mad Men 50s. And he always kept people laughing. I thought, wow, what a neat deal to keep, make people laugh. What a power that is. That's like the most important power. And so I wanted to be like him, be like my dad. I'm not very good, very funny when I speak verbally, but when I draw, I can make people laugh. So I figured out very early that that's what I wanted to do, is make people laugh with my drawings, and that's what I hope to do with my animation. When I was in college, I went to Portland State University. This was the late 60s, early 70s. Animation was dead. Disney had died. The whole company was floundering. Warner Brothers had gone out of business, the animation department. Fleischer Brothers had stopped doing animated cartoons. The only thing that was happening was Hanna-Barbera, and I hated that crap. That was the worst. It was not cartoons. It's not animation. So I moved to New York and became an illustrator. And it was when I was an illustrator that I really developed my style and developed my sense of humor. So in a way, I delayed my career as an animator, but I was able to hone my skills as an animator, as an illustrator. I did a lot of work for publications like the New York Times, Rolling Stone, National Lampoon, Vanity Fair, a lot of the men's magazines, Playboy, Penthouse. So that's where my humor kind of got its rough edge. It's kind of politically incorrect. And it was because I did a lot of humor for those publications. So if you see a lot of my films, you'll think I'm certainly not a Disney type person or a Pixar kind of guy. Anyway, let's look at another film. I'll continue the story later. This is a very interesting film. This is a knockoff of a film I did called Guard Dog. And Guard Dog was nominated for an Oscar back in 2005. It's kind of a classic film. It's very popular. And I wanted to remake the film using other people's art. In other words, I sent out a message on the internet saying that anybody who wants to remake a particular shot in Guard Dog, email me, and you will get to remake that shot in your own style. It has to it has to have the same characters and the same action, but it can be 3D, computer, stop motion, claymation, whatever you want, hand drawn. So it's a real kind of collage of a remake of the Guard Dog. I think you'll understand fairly easily the story of Guard Dog, but I think the interesting thing about this film is the different techniques. We have everybody from a Disney animator to a 10-year-old Chinese boy, a woman animator from Iran. So it's a really wonderful mix of different styles and techniques. And I didn't use use their work as a judge as to whether they're in or out. It's just first person who signed up got the job. So it's a real big span of technology. One thing I did want to point out to you, in fact I may yell it out during the screening, there's a sequence here called the Laughing Girl. And the person who got that shot recommissioned 102 other artists to recreate each frame in their own style. It's amazing. It'll knock you out. The best way to see it is to freeze frame each shot, each frame, and see the amount of work that goes into it. But you'll see it when we show it. So James, are you ready with Guard Dog Global Jam? Here we go. Boy, that's quick. This is all dog food, by the way. This is dog food animation. Here comes the Laughing Girl shot. Thank you. Here are the people that worked on all the. Mike Schneider did that multiple laughing girl shot. And we're going to show all the filmmakers who got involved. There's Sandrine Flemont. Sandrine, stand up. You did the tree shot. Fatima Yazre from Iran. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I'm going to do, if I can get this page. There we go. A drawing of the dog. He's a very, these are actually the cartoons I'll be doing for you afterwards is a dog. He's more of a round kind of beach ball kind of character. Something like this. Big mouth, big tongue. Single tooth, top and bottom. Just little appendages for legs. And that's it, really. It's a very simple character to draw. And I think the simplicity adds to his charm. Just like Mickey Mouse is a very simple, basic character. He's a very simple shape. And he's not wearing a lot of clothes, very simple kind of design. And I think that's the secret to all great cartoon characters, that their design is very simple. I'll sign this one here. By the way, we're not going to do a Q&A after, but if people have questions as I talk or as I draw, please feel free to ask me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So anyway, I moved to New York. I became an illustrator, but I still had that yearning to do animation. And animation started to come back in the mid-'80s. You had MTV starting to show animation. Disney started to make feature films at that time, really good feature films, Little Mermaid and such. You had Japanese animation coming in. You had Roger Rabbit was a big success, a big hit. And The Simpsons kicked in. So all of a sudden, everybody's excited about animation, so I felt like this would be a good opportunity for me to try to make an animated film. And the first film I did was called Your Face. We're not going to show it because we don't have time, but let me just do a drawing so people know about it. Again, it's a very simple shape. It's just a guy about like this, wears a suit. He's become my everyman, actually. Very tiny eyes, very small eyes. Greased back hair. He's kind of like Bud Abbott on Abbott and Costello. Little pencil-thin mustache, something like this. And a tie. He's always wearing a tie. A lot of people think I'm British. I don't know why. They think that I'm a British cartoonist. I think it's because of the Monty Python stuff was very deadpan, guys wearing suits and bowler hats, and they did these crazy things. And that's sort of what happens in my films. So that may be why they think I'm British. But anyway, I did this film, Your Face. It was the first film I did. And it's just a guy's head. He sings a stupid song, Your face is like a song. And as he sang this song, his head started to transform into very bizarre ways. It's a very surreal kind of film. It's a stupid film, 3 minutes long. I remember the first time I showed it. It was at a CIFA meeting, which is a local organization that supports animators. And I was in the back row there, and it's filled with really important animation luminaries judging the films. And when my film came on, I tried to hide my head because it was such a goofball film. And about 5 seconds into the film, people started laughing. And I can't tell you what a new sensation that was, because as a print cartoonist, I never heard anybody laugh at my cartoons. I didn't know people thought they were funny or not. And to hear a big group of people laugh at my film blew me away. It was like this whole, I couldn't breathe. I mean, this whole sensation of feeling like this is what I lived my whole life for, you know, to hear people laugh at something I'd drawn. And after the screening, people came back to me and said, "Are you Bill Plympton? Did you make that Your Face film?" And I said, "Yeah, that was me." He said, "Wow, you know, that's amazing. Let's go out for a drink. Let's hang out. Let's talk animation." And at that moment, I felt like I was home. I felt like, why did I wait so long to make this animated film? It was really an amazing time. And the next day, I called up all my newspaper clients, my print clients. I said, I'm quitting animation. I'm quitting print. I'm going into animation. And they said, "You're crazy. Animation's dead. Nobody makes money in animation, especially shorts." I said, "No, I think I can do it." And so this film came out. It was nominated for an Oscar. It sold all over the world. I made money on the film, and I continue making money on the films. I made more money in animation than I did in print. So I'm very happy that I'm here in animation. Yes, sir?
Do you get a lot of people who would fund you to do what you want?
No, that's a great question, because I get that a lot, and I'm one of these people who believes that short films are a fantastic art form. It's a great art form in and of itself. A lot of people in the film industry think short films are only to get a 3-picture deal in Hollywood. I disagree. I think they are great art forms. You can make money on films, and you can tell great stories in 3 or 4 minutes. Really fantastic stories. So to answer your question, no, I don't. I never took Hollywood money. I never take corporate money. I don't take government money. I don't take advertising money. It's all money funded by the shorts, the success of the shorts. And they sell all over the world, and on television, on DVD, like this, on the internet. We sell the original drawings. We sell merchandise. We survive as an independent. I don't believe in grants and government money, which I know is not a good thing to believe in, but that's how I believe I should make my films.
The other double-sided question was, I wanted to ask you as well, do people come to you with an idea and they want you to do it?
Occasionally. There was a wonderful film I did called The Fan and the Flower, and this is by a story by a guy named Dan O'Shannon, who's a wonderful writer a producer for Modern Family, actually. And this was about 8 years ago. He came to me and said, "I have a story." And I said, "Well, you know, I got my own stories. I'm not really interested." He said, "Well, I have money for you." And I said, "Okay, tell me about it. Tell me your story." And it was a great story. It's called The Fan and the Flower. It's about a ceiling fan and a flower, and they fall in love, and their love is never consummated. So it's a very sort of universal story. And I did that with him, and the film was a big success. It was a very, very successful film. But that's about the only time I've ever done other people's stories, because I really have a backlog of my own stories, and I really think that they're very could be very popular films. So I generally don't do that. I do, however, do commercials. I do music videos. I've done a music video for Kanye West, Weird Al Yankovic. I worked on a Madonna music video. So I do commission films. But basically, it's the shorts are my own. Yes? It's called Who's That Girl? It was done back in 1992. Yeah, I was a hot guy back in the 90s because I got an Oscar nomination, and independent animation was starting to take off. So I got a lot of commercials, I did a Geico spot, I did Taco Bell and all sorts of commercials, and so Madonna wanted me to animate one of her films. It wasn't, in fact, we're going to show you some artwork from that film later on, so thanks for asking. Anyway, let's look at the next film. This next film is really interesting. It's a film that I think you will find fascinating. Let me ask you a question. How many people know who Windsor Mckay is? One? Okay. Windsor Mckay, that's what I thought. Don't feel bad. Windsor Mckay, to my mind, is the greatest animator who ever lived. He's a New Yorker, and he worked for William Randolph Hearst back at the turn of the last century. And he did Little Nemo in Slumberland and Gertie the Dinosaur and Sinking Lusitania, and he was a genius. He did a daily comic strip, a big full-page Sunday comic strip, this big, full of detail. He did spot illustrations. He did a political cartoon. On top of that, he did animated films. He drew every frame. He did it on ones. In other words, every frame of film, he did a new drawing. So he was one of the fastest, most amazing animators ever lived. He's been forgotten. I don't know, for whatever reason, people don't know who he is. I looked at one of his reels, and I saw this last film he did. It was 1921. It's called The Flying House. Fabulous film, beautiful film. No one knows. No one's seen it. It's sort of been forgotten. It's obscure. So I decided, out of my own pocket, to clean every frame. I got a master from France, and we digitally cleaned every frame. We colored it using his color models from the newspapers. I hired Matthew Modine and Patricia Clarkson to redo the voices. We put sound and music on it. And without the intertitles and the word balloons, it went from a 13-minute film that was really long, boring, and hard to watch to a 7.5-minute film. You're going to see that film tonight. This is one of the first screenings ever of this film. We showed it yesterday at the Hamptons Film Festival. That was the first screening in the U.S. Actually, the first screening, theatrical, of the film. So you're going to see it tonight. That's it, really. I'll talk to you about it more afterwards. So here we go with Windsor Mckay and Bill Plympton's version of The Flying House. And you may recognize a similarity to a certain Pixar film in this.
Weren't those rarebits we had tonight delicious?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they will make us dream?
Rarebits never make me dream.
I hope I don't have a nightmare. I hate bad dreams. Well, here goes. Good night, dear. Bertie, where are you? Bertie? Bertie? Bertie! Where did he go all at once? What is that noise upstairs? Oh, he was here a minute ago. He's upstairs. I'll go up. What's going on up here? What are you doing?
Go downstairs and read that letter on the dresser.
What is that waiting for? For the love of Mike! Oh!
Just read that letter and you'll understand.
Oh!
Dear sir, unless you pay the interest on your mortgage at once, I will have to foreclose. Rents are high and I can make a lot of money renting your house. Yours truly, George H. Profiteer.
He's going to turn the house into a flying machine. If he's going to steal the house, oh dear. I don't think much of this.
Wait till you see this.
Oh. Don't go up so high.
You keep quiet. We'll be all right.
We do not want whiskey. What we want is water. We want plenty of water. Let us have ocean of water. Water! Water!
They will make you pay for that.
There's something wrong with the engine. I'll have to stop and take a look at it.
You can't stop here.
Simply got to land or fall. Yes. That's all right.
Man changes house into a flying machine. Puts propeller on his
house is flying through the sky. Gee, the world must be coming to an end. That's it, big man.
Now coming is a really fantastic piece of animation here with the globe turning and the house flying and the moon.
Special attention is called to the remarkable piece of animation which follows. The Earth and the Moon revolving on their orbits in the firmament, drawn true to astronomical calculations, with the beautiful constellation of Orion in the background. Magic.
Thank you, thank you. To help pay for this, we did a Kickstarter campaign. So you're going to see a bunch of names here of people who donated money to this project. So while they were showing that, I'll talk a little bit. You got to realize this is 1921. Disney didn't really do Mickey Mouse until 27. So this was 6 years before he did Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse was incredibly crude and simple and basic. This is so much more sophisticated than Disney, until even Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs, was Disney able to recreate this kind of sophistication and draftsmanship. So it's a really amazing, amazing project. Another interesting thing about this was the opening credit was designed by Windsor Mckay and drawn by Robert Windsor Mckay, which is his son. And I don't think that's true. I think Windsor Mckay actually did all the artwork on this, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the drawing is just so good, it couldn't have been done by anybody else but Windsor Mckay. Number two, his boss, William Randolph Hearst, forbid him to make any more films because he was taking his time and energy away from his duties as a cartoonist, a print cartoonist for the newspaper. And so I think he put his son's name as the animator so he could say, hey, Mr. Hearst, I didn't do it, my son did it. I'm not wasting my time doing this animation. So I think that's why his son did it. In any case, William Randolph Hearst forbid him to make any more films, and immediately his career went downhill. He used to be the Walt Disney of 1910. He was so big, he was so powerful, but as soon as he stopped doing animation, he didn't care about print, he didn't care about his cartoons, and he died shortly thereafter. So it's really kind of a tragic story how William Randolph Hearst sort of ended such an amazing career of such a brilliant, brilliant artist. Any questions? Yes?
So the last one was without conversation, for instance, and I've observed a lot of animation without any talk or something.
Mm-hmm.
And this was so is this kind of like a category to use like conversation not? Because I've heard a lot of animation without any.
No, the question was about the use of voices in some of my films and non-voices in the others. Is that right? Something like that?
A lot of animations lately are just without any.
Yes. I do. I like to keep my films without voices for a number of reasons. One is they're much easier to sell overseas. They don't have to pay for dubbing and translating and subtitles, which I find very distracting. So I like to keep my films without dialogue. But this one, obviously, you had to have the dialogue. That's how Windsor Mckay wrote it. In fact, I've been getting a lot of static from a number of film experts for doing this because they think I'm debasing the Mona Lisa of animation, the Leonardo da Vinci of animation. I disagree. I think it's an obscure film. Nobody knows who Windsor Mckay is. Nobody's ever seen The Flying House. I hope I can bring more attention to this genius and show the world the great work that he did. Okay, let's go on to the next film. This is a little short film. Again, Sandrine did the coloring. Sandrine, you want to stand up and take a bow? It's called Waiting for Her Sailor, and it is it's just a wacky little film that I did. This is also a premiere, I think. This is the premiere of this film. So here we go with Waiting for Her Sailor. Like I said, it's a short film. You don't have to show it again, James. The joke is ruined the second time. Thank you. Thank you. Sandrine. Okay, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. How many filmmakers do we have in the audience? Any filmmakers? A few. Good. This gentleman asked me the question if I take government money or grant money or anything for my films. I'm going to tell you my secret for success in making short films. This is live action or animation. It's called Plympton's Dogma. And these are 3 rules to make money doing short films. Number 1, make your film short. I judge a lot of films. In fact, I just came back from the Bend Film Festival where I was judging the shorts. And every short film was 25 minutes. 30 minutes, 22 minutes. What the hell? Who wants to sit through a 22-minute film, especially if it's a bad film? You're stuck watching this 22-minute film. You can't sell it in the cinemas. You can't sell it on DVDs. You can't sell it on the internet. Television doesn't want a 22-minute film. It's impossible to sell. Make a 5-minute film. That's what people want to see. Look at YouTube. All the great films are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. That's what people want to see. It's just so much easier and cheaper to make a 5-minute short film. 2, make it cheap. If you use a lot of actors, if you use a lot of craft services, if you use a lot of digital technology, computer technology, it's going to be really expensive. I like to keep it down to about $1,000 a minute. I do a lot of the stuff myself. I direct, I produce, I write, I create the characters, the backgrounds, and the animation. If you can do that, you can make a cheap film. Also, stay away from big name music, Duke Ellington, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley. That stuff's very expensive. And number 3, make it funny. And I don't know why this is. I don't know how to explain it, but if you make a funny film, everyone's going to want to watch it. Everyone's going to see it. Look again on YouTube. What are the films that get all the hits? The wacky, funny, crazy films. If you want to make a political film or an abstract film or a film to bare your soul to the world, go ahead, but no one's going to want to watch it. If you make it funny, people will watch it. That's just the way it works. And so if you can make all these films, you're gonna be a success. You're going to make a lot of money. I'll give you an example. I was nominated for the Oscars in 2005 for Guard Dog. And I was up against this film from Canada called Ryan. Fantastic film. Chris Landreth did it. It's a beautiful digital technology, computer animated film. And he won the Oscar. And you know what? He deserved to win the Oscar. It's a great, fabulous film. I didn't win the Oscar, but I was nice to be there. You know, it was cool to be there. But the film is never going to make a dime. But that's okay. It's a Canadian film. They don't care. They just want to make these films that promote Canadian culture. I need to make money on my films. If I'm going to keep my studio going, I got to make money on the film. So that's why if I follow the dogma rules, I can continue my studio and keep the films coming. Any questions? Yes, sir.
What was the underlying reason that the Canadian film failed?
It cost $1 million. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I'm sorry. It broke all my rules. Thank you for asking that question. It broke all my rules. It was 16 minutes long, maybe 17, I can't remember. It cost over $1 million, and it wasn't funny. It was about a drug-addicted Canadian animator, cartoonist.
Follow-up question.
Sure.
Satire, political satire, you mentioned that.
What's that?
Political satire.
Oh, satire.
The genre be used effectively for the movie cartoons of the future, provided it follows those rules and it's funny. Do you think there's a role of this genre in political
And satire? Absolutely. Yeah, I love satire. That's what's a lot of the great films and animated films that Saturday Night Live, you know, the Robert Smigel films satirize the dynamic duo, you know, that sort of stuff. Satire is very, very wonderful source of humor. I don't do satire that much. Yeah, if it's funny. Yeah, I totally agree. We'll look at, what's that? Not Knick-Knack, the website that does the political stuff, Flick Flack. I can't remember the name. Anyway, yeah, it's a good source of humor. I used to be a political cartoonist. I did political cartoons, but I'm glad I stopped doing it. It's very demanding and very tiring, and I much prefer doing animation. Okay, I think we got one more film left. Where's my list here? Oops, that's not it. Sorry. I misplaced my list. There it is. Yeah, this is really cool. This you'll enjoy this. This is my new feature film. This is a work in progress. You're going to see a pencil test. I don't know if you know what a pencil test is, but it's just the pencil drawings, no color, no sound really, no editing. You can see through it. They're transparent because they're just layered on there. But it's a story of a woman who goes to a carnival and meets the love of her life, and that's about where this little clip will end. But they fall in love, they get married, they're the Romeo and Juliet of this century. But little bits of jealousy start creeping in, and they suspect each other of cheating, and they try to kill each other. So it's a wonderful romantic comedy, as you can tell. But anyway, it's just pencil on paper. The music is by Nicole Renaud, who did the music from Waiting for Her Sailor, and also the Cal film. So here we go with a little clip. It's the opening credit sequence. The credits aren't in there, but I'm going to put credits in there. And this is the beginning of Cheatin', my new feature film. You're not going to see this long. It's only going to be about 6 minutes. So here's the guy that she meets. You can end it there, James, if you want. Thank you. That's the guy she meets. Thank you. Thank you very much. And they fall in love and have a very seamy honeymoon night, and then things start going bad. Let me do a drawing of her. She's a really wonderful character to draw. She's one of my favorite characters. I don't usually have a woman as a lead character, but she was such a neat character. I really loved doing it, having her the lead character. She's very stylized. I really want to stylize this film much more than my other films. So she's her arms and legs are very exaggerated, and of course her dress is very exaggerated, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to draw her. It's actually about halfway done. I'm really cooking on this character, so it's very close to being halfway done with the film. And a lot of shadows. I love doing the shadows. It's really, for me, it really gives it dimension. It gives it weight. It gives it a feeling of the character being real. And for me, that's very important for this film to work. Anybody have any questions about cheating? Yes. Go ahead. The name of the film? Cheatin'. But nobody likes the title, though, so I may not use that. I don't know. Maybe cheating, I don't know. I try to come up with a different title, jealousy, or I don't know. It's a very James M. Cain kind of story. It's very, Double Indemnity, or Postman Always Rings Twice. Actually, it's kind of Postman Always Rings Twice. So it's a very dark, noir kind of story. And so this is the woman walking along. I can do about 100 drawings a day, and that works out to be about 15 seconds a day, 20 seconds, something like that. So it goes pretty fast once I get the groove going. Anyway, there she is. Her name is Ella, by the way. Her name is Ella, and her boyfriend's name is Jake. So that's the... Those are the characters. Yes, sir.
Yes, it's very elegant, the feature that you're working on. Congratulations, that's beautifully elegant.
Thank you.
How big do you draw the drawings again?
Yeah, the drawings, well, the cow film was a special case. That was really small because it was Sharpie. But they're about this size, something like that. If you're familiar with animation, about 12 field, or in other words, 12 inches square, is about the size of it. So they're pretty good sized. No, it's this one I'm trying to get a little more, how should I say, commercial. And so it's 3 drawings per, 3 frames of film per drawing. So about 10 frames per second, something like that. Yeah, maybe less. Yes? That's up to the Film Society. They've invited me here to do my show. So talk to someone from the Film Society about that. I don't want them. Well, I do want them, but I just thought I'd donate them to the, like they need more money, right? No, talk to Eugene. Eugene, I don't know if he's still here or not, but he's the guy. Yes, sir.
Scalability versus cost.
I'm sorry, what?
Scalability versus cost. Let's say for a 2-minute film. That would be, if you wanted to complete it in 1 day versus putting the stock hard and having time.
8 people? Well, if I want to do it in a day, yeah, I don't want to do a film in a day. That's work. I want to enjoy doing it. You know, I take my time and do it. There was a film I did. It's in the video collection there called Santa the Fascist Years, and it is a film I did the drawing in 4 days. Did it over the Thanksgiving holiday, and it's about 2.5 minutes long. And so that's about the fastest I've ever done of an animated film. But, yes, sir.
I don't know why, but in the opening of your film, this last one, with the form
Mm-hmm.
I recently saw Salvatore Dali, and the woman was dancing. It was very sexual, and the way she was moving, I don't know. I just wanted.
Yeah, I love Dolly. I love Dolly. I'm looking at De Chirico, actually. I look at a lot of his stuff on this. A guy by the name of Carlos Niñe from Argentina, Buenos Aires. I don't know if you know Carlos Niñe. I have a lot of influences. I rip off a lot of people.
No, I'm just saying that opening shot when she was walking through the arch.
Right.
That's, I was just saying, I don't know, maybe. No,
Yeah. No, I love Dolly. Dolly's great. You know, he's a big influence on me. Okay, next this is the last thing we're going to show, and this is clips from the book. And I just want to tell you, I forgot to tell you, if you do get a copy of the book, I will draw a caricature of you, and I'll make you look so glamorous you won't believe it. Because that's what I do. I'm a caricature artist. So this is me at 12, I think, and this is for Christmas. I got a paint set from my folks, and I just went crazy. I love painting, and so I started painting everything. Actually, this is for my birthday, not for Christmas. Next, please, James. And this should be one of my paintings from the paint set. This is, again, I was 12, I think, when I did this. And, you know, it's certainly bad, but you can see my love of noir. Already at 12 years old, I was into, like, cityscapes, shadows, dark streets, lampposts. But look at the lamppost, the lamp, rather, and the awning. The perspective is totally off. I hadn't learned perspective yet. But that didn't matter. I just thought that was a really cool, cool street scene. Next, please, James. This is an interesting film. I did this when I was at School of Visual Arts. I went to SVA for about 2 semesters. And before I took these classes, I was really good draftsman. I could draw anybody. I could draw like a camera. I was like really photographic. But they were really boring drawings. They had no style. They were not interesting. So about a week before I did this drawing, I took my first hit of acid. And this is what I saw. I mean, this is how people look. They had their whole bodies were sectioned off into bright color balloons. And see how I distort the perspective and enlarge the hands and the hips and brighten the colors as the closer you get. So this was really a big influence on me. Just like the Beatles, you know, the Beatles had great pop music, but when they started taking drugs, their music really went on another level. It really became much more interesting and much more engaging kind of music. Next, please, James. This is my first illustration. I'd moved to New York by then, obviously. This is for a surfing magazine. You can see a lot of elements in my artwork, just in this drawing here, that I use today. The exaggerated perspective, again, that large hand and the small head and the large legs. The shadows on the wall. I love shadows. You'll see a lot of shadows in my work. The cross-hatching of the radio and the ears. And again, you see a little bit of that De Chirico kind of surreal cityscapes. Next, please. This is a drawing I did for PEN. It's an organization to help writers. And this was something I wanted to show because I love the shadows in the underneath the coat and underneath the hat, and you'll see that a lot in Cheatin', the new film I'm doing. Also, I love the fabric, the folds of the fabric. A lot of computer animation, Pixar, DreamWorks, Blue Sky, they can't do fabric folds, and it really bugs me that they spend $200 million on a film and they can't do fabric. So I love doing the fabric folds and the shadows of the fabric. It's really fun for me to do. Next, please. I started out as a caricature artist. I loved Reagan. Reagan was a lot of fun to do. And so I put a bunch of caricatures in the book because it was such an important part of my career. Also, if you want to be an animator, it really helps to know how to caricature, how to take the human body and the human face and distort it. It's such an important aspect of good animation. Next, please. This is the Your Face, a cell from the Your Face drawing. That was my first big hit. And I wanted to show it to you because you just see it's just color pencil. Just simple as technique there is. There's no computers or render man or anything. It's just pencil on paper. And I think that helped it. It gave it a nice kind of quality, a handmade quality. Like you went to an art museum and saw a Renoir. You know, to see a Renoir move would just be so magical. And that's what I was trying to do with your face. Next, please, James. This was a cartoon I did for Rolling Stone. This was before I started animation, and the art director, B.F. Feitler, asked me to do a end paper, the last page, for Valentine's Day. And so I did this thing, How to Kiss, and it's 5 different weird kisses. And it was a huge hit. People called me about making a poster out of it. They wanted to use buttons, T-shirts, and so I thought I'd hit an interesting topic here. So when I started doing animation, this was the second film I did. It's called How to Kiss, and it also became a big hit. And I think actually I played it at the New York Film Festival. I think it played here, if I'm not mistaken, back in '88. Next, please, James. I wanted to show this because this is some sequences from my film, The Toon. And this is me growing up. Look at me copying my dad. I have the identical outfit as my dad. This is when we grew up in the country. And I used this photo to make fun of American families vacationing as a group, as a family group. So this is also in the book. It's very cool. Next, please, James. This is the piece I was telling you about back in, I think it was '89. Madonna was doing this film, Who's That Girl? And she asked me, or not her, but her agent asked me to submit some ideas for her music video. And so I did some Rousseau kind of stuff with her singing on it, very dark, very jungle-like, because there was a big cat in the film. So I thought that'd be a lot of fun. She didn't accept me. She took another guy, but I was one of the guys that did the animation on the project. But I love this, and the art director of the book found that. I forgot all about this piece of art. It's a really nice piece of art. It's just a rough, watercolor that we sent to Madonna. So the only people that have seen it is Madonna and her agent. So you get to see it in the book. It's like 25 years old, so it's very cool. Next, please. There's also some wonderful storyboards in the book, and I love storyboards. They're very important to me. And the reason I wanted to include this one is the story is told visually. The dialogue is nice, bye daddy, goodbye Josie, but it really is told visually. It's a visual story. And that's what I think is really important for the success of my films, is that you can understand the films without really knowing the dialogue. Next, please. This is interesting because this is the color sheet that I used for Guard Dog, the first Dogs film. Oops. And so you can see I marked the names of the colors, warm gray, cream, burnt ochre, Tuscan red, a warm gray. I sort of indicated on the character the colors I wanted to use, and this was just an experimental part. So it's a really cool part of the book that you see the creative process in action. You see how I arrive at these colors, what I go through to make the film look like it does. Next, please, James. And then also I have to design the character, the dog character. You saw the dog, of course, in the Cheatin' film. And I went to a dog park right close to where I live. And I did all these dogs. You see chihuahuas in there and pugs and all sorts of dogs. And this is part of the process. I must have done about 10 of these pages, experimenting with different kinds of dogs. And this is pretty close to what I actually arrived at near the end. Next, James. This is interesting. This is a very rough storyboard. Usually my storyboards are much more finished than this, but this is really interesting because let's start from the top right, where the dog spots a slug. This will be for Guard Dog, where he imagines all these animal creatures attacking his master. And then he imagines the slug with a sharpener sharpening the blades of grass. He's wearing little goggles, welding goggles, and he's really serious about sharpening the blades of grass. Then he leaves a spiral of slime in the grass, and our hero guy steps on the slime, falls over, and he's stabbed by all these sharpened blades of grass. And I thought this was hilarious. I thought this is one of the greatest ideas for the film. And I animated it, and I showed it to people. I always like to test my ideas in front of people. And nobody laughed. Nobody thought it was funny. I don't know why. I think it's one of the funniest ideas I ever had, but I had to kick it out. I tossed that out. And maybe one day I'll finish it and put it in an extras DVD. But you have to be very cold-hearted when you're making a film. And if something doesn't work, either change it or get rid of it. Because even though you love it, if the audience hates it, it's stuck in there for eternity. And that's really a sad, tragic thing. Next, James. This is a scene from a music video I did for a Dutch band called Parson Brown. And I wanted to show it because it's a kind of a different direction I'm taking with my styles. It's a lot more sort of naive, a little more primitive, a little more exaggerated, a little more stylized. And so I'm getting into a much more stylized kind of artwork in the new film, Cheatin'. Next, please. This is that film I was telling you about, Santa, the Fascist Years. I did it in 4 days. I don't recommend making a film in 4 days, by the way, but I just thought it was, actually it's a very successful film, so it really worked out pretty well. Next, please. This is the artwork for Idiots and Angels. It's my new feature film. We have the feature right here if you're interested in it. And this is the drawing that I do. This is my artwork here. And I hand it to my staff, and they shade it and airbrush it in with the colors and the modeling. And so you can see the difference between what I do and what the finished film looks like. Yes? I've done a bunch of advertising, mostly in the 90s. Like I said, Taco Bell, Geico spots. Who else? Who did I do? Not Bell Telephone, AT&T. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I can't remember all the commercials. I like doing commercials. Commercials are great. You do it in a week, and you get a lot of money, and it's seen all over the world. You know, I like commercials. Next, please, James. This is some of the characters from the new film, Cheatin', and you can see how stylized they are. They're much more exaggerated and elongated and distorted. And I'm really excited about this. I'm really looking forward to finishing this film. Next, please, James. These are some more characters from Cheatin'. These are some of the female characters that come back to seduce him. And I think this is the one that causes all the problems in their relationship, and that's her boyfriend there. So I'm really looking forward to this. Next, please. This may be the last one, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that's the last one. This is a frame from Guard Dog. So does anybody have any questions? I'm here to answer questions if you want. I will be here, like I say, afterwards, signing your cards and your books. And so if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm hanging out, ready to talk, and I'm delighted to talk about animation and my cartoons. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you, Lincoln Center, for inviting me here, and New York Film Society. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you. Come down and get your drawings.